Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was my Joker impersonation from the Heath Ledger. Did you see Joker yet?
I did, man. It's a great movie.
Bloody amazing.
Yeah.
Bloody amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
The acting is ridiculous.
His acting is off the charts, bro. Off the charts.
It's incredible. Incredible, man. I want to go see it like a second and a third time just to support it. Totally amazing. The cancel culture is up in arms against it, so I like to support whatever the cancel culture wants to take down. I like to support it. So, yeah, if you haven't seen the Joker, go see it. It's amazing. Simply amazing. Anyway, Siege, what's going on, man? How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. Saturday, it rained pretty much all day, all night. Yeah. Gloomy. Sunday turned out to be beautiful. It was gorgeous weather. Hung out with some friends, family outdoors for a while, did a little fire pit, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah. So how was yours?
It was good, man. I mean, Saturday over here was beautiful, sunny. And then Sunday, of course, we got all your rain, We got the, all that was just wet and windy, man. And I think today looks pretty good. So I'm happy about that. Did some pumpkin picking with the little one. It was awesome. Went out to the farms, took some great pictures. And folks, if you're in the market for a new smartphone, I always give V's tech advice. Okay, I always give my tech advice. I picked up the Google Pixel 4 XL, the new one, and my God, the computational photography on this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I love it. I recommend it. I was blown away. And I had my Note 10 Plus too. So, and then the iPhone. This one was just, oh my God. If CJ, I'll show you the shots later. It's just amazing. So I had a lot of fun with that. Ate some apple cider donuts, bro. This is, the local farm where we go to. They make apple cider donuts from scratch, and it's to die for. To die for, bro.
Wow, from scratch. Nice. Nice.
From scratch. No, that was it. Last night, went out to our favorite diner. Had a delicious T-bone with asparagus and this amazing fancy schmancy baked potato. It was amazing. Totally delicious. It's really good. Love it. But that's about it, man. I just, apart from that, it was just another great day. I hope everybody out there having a good Monday. I see some people in the chat. I see my man, A. Dix. He's there. Dixie, what's up, buddy? How are you? I see Danny Ever, my main man, Danny Ever, and then Jay from Thailand, all the way from Thailand. What's up, buddy? Thailand is a cool place. I need to go drop in. It's been this very, very cool place over there. Go check out Bangkok. They have a nice watch scene over there, CJ.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, have you picked up any new watches lately?
I've gotten some from some exclusive Thailand market only Seikos, which are pretty cool. I had the what I pick up, the Zimby edition Seikos are always launched exclusively for Thailand area for the Thai market, and these are some hopped up really nice watches. So picked those up a few years back. I like what they do. Bangkok's cool. Thailand's a cool place, man. It's a cool place, especially want to get away from the nanny state. I like anywhere where you can go ahead and bribe a cop if they pull you over for like a speeding ticket. I like any place you can do that. It's not like over here, Siege, where you get pulled over and you got to go pay a $200 traffic fine and 2 points on your license and geez Louise, man, it's just a pain in the neck.
How many times have you been to driving school, V? Have you had to go to defensive driving school?
You know what the funny thing is, Siege? I get pulled over all the time, but I never get ticketed.
Gosh,
I got ticketed once. Here's the deal. In 2003, I graduated college, right? In 2003. And I came out of this when I had my undergrad. It was in clinical nutrition. I decided, hey, you know what? I want to go start my own business. So I started a nutritional business. I opened up a high-end vitamin store. And at that time, I'm a gearhead. So back in 2003, that's when Mitsubishi just released for the first time in America the Evo, the Lancer Evolution, and then we got the 8th generation. So it was the Lancer Evo 8. So I treated myself to my own graduation present. I went ahead and I, plopped down some money and was one of the first people in the U.S. to get the Evo. And for those that don't know, it's a 4-wheel drive rally car, turbocharged. It is back then, and I mean, Evo is notorious for embarrassing supercars. just embarrassing supercars. It's just not just the speed of it, the handling, man. The handling, my God, the handling was insane. So I went out and got one, and it was rally red. So it was people called it speeding ticket red, and and I got it and I hopped it up, and at that time, CJ, this is what I did. I did what I do. I did I did a intake, turbo back exhaust. I did a Walbro 255 LPH fuel pump. I did larger injectors, a complete tune, and HKS GT35 turbos. We were looking at like close to 400 at the wheels, man. So it was a rocket. So needless to say, I'm coming back from Jersey, and all of a sudden, New Jersey State Trooper pulls out as I sped past him at like 80 something miles an hour. I see him in my mirror and I book it. I was able to get across the New York, New Jersey border and left him the guy in the dust. I was able to outrun the cop. I don't recommend anybody do this. Please do not do this.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
Yeah, I don't recommend it unless you have a really, really fast car. Okay. So I left the guy in the dust. And then I'm like, coming back into New York. And I'm right at the border of New York and New Jersey. And then there was another cop pulled out. Did not know, but it was a different jurisdiction, the whole 9 yards. And when he pulled out, I was like, oh man, I was cruising at like 70 miles an hour in the left lane, cruising, and did not see the cop behind me because, if you know anything about Evos, and like the rival at that time was the Subaru WRX STI, those things have huge wings in the back, and they're not like for show. They're actually functional. They produce downforce for the car. And my spoiler in the rear, man, it obscured the police car's roof, its roof lights. So it looked like a regular car. I'm thinking it was a regular car that was following me. Didn't realize that the lights were on top of the roof, were being blocked by my spoiler. And then, of course, like an idiot, I had my radar off, my radar detector. Dude, I got pulled over. Check this out. This is how much I love the state of New Jersey. $750 fine, and I was banned from driving in New Jersey for 90 days. Actually, three months. Yeah, I couldn't drive in Jersey for 90 days, man. Dude, that was hilarious. But that was the only time that I got pulled over and ticketed. Then you got rid of the Evo. You get married, you grow up, and your tastes grow up. And I remember I had again, as if I couldn't learn my lesson with the red cars. I went out and got this was in 2012. I got a 2013 Camaro ZL1. And for people that didn't know, the ZL1 was a monster right out of the factory. It had black wheels on, black 20-inch wheels, huge, 16-inch Brembo brakes. It had a Magna Ride suspension that was developed on the Nürburgring, and it had a 580 horsepower supercharged Chevy small block, the 372 small block in there, with the supercharger. And I mean, it was a great car. And that car, Siege, I modded that bad boy up to 700, almost 800 horsepower at the wheels. At the wheels, it was a monster. It was a 10-second car. Siege, I got pulled over every 5 feet. Never once ticketed. Usually, it's when the cops pull you over. They want to comment about, hey, nice car, man. So every single time I get ticketed, every time I get pulled over, I never get ticketed, man. So it went from the Camaro to the M3 and now the M5. No problems, man. No problems. Knock on wood. So I never had to take a defensive driving course. Thank God.
That's cool. That's good, man. I figured you'd been in there at least 2 or 3 times by now. So,
dude, it's crazy, man. I've done as crazy things where I'm coming back with with my better half, and we're on like the secluded local road, and it's completely empty in front of us. And I live in upstate New York in the Hudson Valley, so it's nice and beautiful up here. I see this empty road, dude, and here I am. I'm in a 720 horsepower M5 twin turbo. I'm just like, dude, that I just hit. I always got to give the warning. Hold on, I hit it, dude. I remember doing 175 miles an hour on an empty open country road. And dude, the car, and I had to slow down because it was approaching like this corner where it kind of narrows, and then you're in town, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to slow it down. The car was just pulling like a freight train past 170, dude. It was ballistic. and was
Wow.
planted. My God, that was fast, bro. That was fast. But anyway, enough of the speed. CJ, I want to mourn. Today's a day in mourning, bro. I want to join the lamestream media in mourning the death of an austere scholar, CJ.
Who's that, B?
You don't know about this? You never heard about the death of the austere scholar?
No, which one was that? Which help me out here.
The austere scholar, man. It was all over the Washington Post. They were mourning his death, and all the liberal newspapers were calling him a wonderful scholar, and and everything else. The Washington Post. I mean, you remember this guy? He died over the weekend. It was this wonderful scholar who was.
Oh, okay, yeah, he was a scholar. Absolutely, yes.
The Washington Post.
Yes.
Right. The Washington Post called who they call the austere scholar? It was Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. That's right, the leader of ISIS. Can you believe this, bro? Mm-hmm. Al-Bag crappy, like Danny Ever would say. Yep. Very. Oh my God! It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. This guy is This guy is you got to ask yourself, why was the Washington Post mourning this guy, right? Why was the liberal media crying about this guy? Why was John McCain meeting this guy? And one of the things that people don't realize, and most people in media, especially most people in mainstream media, they just thought, it's just a terrorist guy. Folks, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is more than just a quote-unquote terrorist guy. He has been at least over a decade at this point, TJ, a valuable cocaine import agency asset. That's right. Right. And the funny thing is, Siege, I truly am wondering if this guy truly is dead, because Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi has been killed multiple times. In fact, when there's especially in election cycles, right?
Right.
He's been killed. Hold on, just in my office chair.
I believe this is officially the 6th time that he's been killed.
He's been killed so many times, my friend. He's been killed. I don't know who's been killed more times. Was it al-Baghdadi or Kenny from South Park? Yeah. I'm trying to figure it out, Siege.
Oh.
I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know if it was Kenny from South Park or al-Baghdadi. But Siege, do you know how he died?
Apparently, he died via suicide vest, but nobody around him was injured from it or anything.
Damn. Don't you hate and how convenient it is that these guys always either wind up blowing themselves up, or they're buried in sea, or they're buried in the ocean, given a proper Muslim burial in the ocean?
Yes, indeed.
Because in the Quran, it says that when you are dead in the desert, to go find a body of water to go bury yourself in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I read. Maybe I'm wrong. Or Dixie saying that he's probably seen it at the local kebab house. You're probably right. He's ordering some shawarma. He might be in London at a local kebab house, or he could be in New York right now ordering some shawarma off the one of these the halal food carts that we have scattered throughout the city over here.
He also could be in the same house with Epstein somewhere too. You never know.
He could be on the same island with Epstein, and what's the other guy? The guy from Enron. Who died? Who's the CEO of Enron, man? God, I need fish oils, bro.
From Enron. Did he commit suicide as well?
Ken Lay from Enron.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he had a convenient heart attack, right? Don't you love that kind of stuff? It's great. So al-Baghdadi blew himself up. It could be anybody, this guy's. But anyway, let's see if who the new character is going to be. They're naming a new character, CJ. It's like World of Warcraft.
Well, you know, gosh, I think it just, to me, like when I watched that press conference that Trump gave when he announced it, it's like, that when they try to, attempt to script it out like a Hollywood movie, that more than likely that it's bogus, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like even the most skeptical people, or I'm sorry, even the most champion people of Trump are trying to pivot and say that they know that this wasn't real. It was just a message, that things are different now in the Middle East. That's how they're trying to spin it. They're trying to justify it by saying this announcement was a announcement to the deep state that we're coming after you.
Yes.
So that's, so there's lots of questions. Obviously, you can, question it regarding, hey, it's a re-election type thing to, try to sway people. But I mean, it just did not have that thunder, and we can do a quick flashback to why specifically Obama finally, got bin Laden. You'll remember you'll remember during that time period where almost all news agencies were calling into question the fabricated birth certificate that he put out. There was a lot of questions in regards to whenever Sheriff Joe came out and said, hey, we have, information that he doesn't have a birth certificate. And then all of a sudden he produces one. And then after they did it so sloppy that whenever you looked at it with Adobe, you could see the layers of it.
Yeah.
And like most even mainstream media were like really catching on to this. Like, so he was taking a lot of heat from it. And then all of a sudden on a cold, dreary Sunday night, boom, we got bin Laden, and the whole nation celebrated. They forgot about, the bogus birth certificate, and boom, carried national momentum going into. You remember that they were like celebrating.
Dude, I remember we got him, and then Hillary and O'Dumbo and the idiots from the deep state were all standing in front of the photo op, man.
Yeah, they're in the Situation Room, right? Yeah, and they're like, looking down, and I mean, the optics around it, are tremendous. And what's one to believe, right? I mean, he was taking a lot of heat for pulling the troops out of Syria, which I completely supported. A lot of question in regards to this bogus impeachment thing, which he's taking a lot of stress and thing over. So there was one other thought, V, that I had in regards to him coming out, was that obviously he had to work with intelligence agencies to come up with this happen. And the other thing that I had was that they purposely had him do this, in other words, showing support for him to do it. Hey, let's do this. This is what we need to do. This is going to help. But they may have purposely have done it just to set him up to, in a few days later, to come out and say, hey, you know what? In fact, this didn't happen, just to make him look bad. Because I don't think right now that I would be trusting one single person. I would have a very, very close circle of maybe 2 or 3, and that's about it right now, as he's trying to get through all this. But so it is what it is. And I know for the most part, like, I immediately saw a lot of people posting like, oh yeah, this is great, he's dead now for the 6th time. Why now? Why a 45-minute press conference that mapped it out like a Hollywood movie? All those things. So a lot more questions than answers at this stage, V.
Well, I'm going to read you guys an article real quick. This is from July 11th, 2017. Are you ready?
Yep.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead, Syrian Observatory says. This is from Al Jazeera. Okay. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says it has confirmed that Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, has been killed. Rami Abdurrahman, director of War Monitoring Group, told the news agencies on Tuesday that Baghdadi died in Deir ez-Zor province in eastern Syria. Top-tier commanders from ISIL who were present in Deir ez-Zor province have confirmed the death of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the emir of ISIS, to the observatory. Abdurrahman also told the AFP, "We learned of it today, but we do not know when he died or how. The report could not be independently verified. That's just one going back to 2017. Okay. And there's so many of these. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. And now, okay, there's another one from January 15, 2018. Abu Baghdadi is dead. There's another one over here. Baghdadi is dead. Does that mean ISIS is dead with him? This was, several months ago. So this guy's been killed so many times. It's beyond the pale of ridiculousness. But the point is, can he actually be dead right now, CJ? And is there some sort of a veiled message in announcing this? Is it saying that the deep state character, this avatar, this fictional character named Abu Bakr or whatever,
they have to have their boogeyman, right?
Yeah, exactly. That their boogeyman, that character has been killed off, and then what happened is that he's killed off, and then now it's a new narrative being played in the Middle East. It's a new beginning, a new age, a new beginning. And they're supposedly moving some U.S. troops to hold a few certain oil fields, which I think is a stupid move, and I don't think that's done as a long-term, move on anything. I think it's done as a short-term, interim move to maybe appease or have the look of appeasement for the neocons. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I will tell you, CJ, I will tell you. The Middle East seems to be a playground that the U.S. seems to be getting out of, bro. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum is hard to gauge. It appears, things are changing. Are they scaling for something else? I agree with you in regards to. Listen, I had no problem like when Trump was not even running for office. This was 3 or 4 years ago, and he was always adamant about, hey, we should have never went into Iraq. It would just disrupt the Middle East even more. He nailed that on so many fronts. And then, I also agreed to a certain extent that, whenever we did that, like who was going to pay? How was this going to be, reciprocated? And there was nothing done. And we know primarily now that when you take a look at the vast amount of oil deals that are strictly coming from Iraq, they're with Iran.
Yep.
Those deals are with Iran, and he even spoke about that in the presser on Saturday. So yeah, so this concept around that the U.S. deserves the oil in Syria is just so much bullshit, and those are the things that keep me from, like, when I assess Trump and like, what he's doing. It's like, okay, we disrupted, not Trump directly, but the United States completely disrupted Syria, led to a humanitarian crisis, probably in the last decade, the most severe, with all those people fleeing Syria, which most of them probably weren't even from Syria. The amount of destruction that occurred, back to this, and now we want to claim and state that, that we have the oil, we want the oil, and there'll be people to say, well, yeah, he's saying that because the deep state uses that oil to fund their operations and things like that. That shouldn't be our discussion, our conversation. That should be left up to Russia and Syria to determine. Russia and Vladimir Putin are the real heroes in Syria, and no one else. And Trump and even previous administrations trying to take credit for this in Syria is laughable, and that's an understatement. And that's my opinion,
dude. And you're absolutely right. The whole thing is this, man. They understand that the average American can't even find Syria on the map. The average American has no understanding of the larger geostrategic, geoeconomic play. The majority of Americans think that we have some sort of a free press. That that's starting to get challenged now, right? They think they have free media. The majority of Americans think that we're still out there fighting for freedom, and wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, real American hero. That's what the average American thinks. He has no idea how screwed up things are. The average American has no idea that we have 900 some odd military bases in 130 some odd countries in the, throughout the world. We're in an empire. And it's like, people are like, oh, the U.S. wants to hold the oil. No, they don't want to hold the oil. They want to control the flow of oil because it keeps the petrodollar propped up, And dude, it's the average Joe on the street has no clue of this. He is so ill-informed. It's so ill-informed, and this is why Franklin said it best. Benjamin Franklin said it best. This is for an upright and vigilant. Our form of government, which is a constitutional representative republic, is for an upright and vigilant citizenry. An upright and vigilant citizenry. More people were glued to what was happening with the Patriots versus the Cleveland Browns over the weekend than they were to what was happening throughout the world. And that's the sad fact of it. And I don't see that trend changing. The average American doesn't understand that in terms of the freedom index. Okay, in terms of the freedom index, we are ranked somewhere below, I think it was number 43 or 48. I don't exactly remember, but it was 40-something, Siege. And it was, I think, slightly below or slightly above Romania. It's pathetic. But yeah, you ask the average person on the street, we're the freest country in the world. But brother, I'm an entrepreneur. It is bloody hard to run companies here. I get into all sorts of regulatory. I hit regulatory hurdles all the time. There's stuff I do with cryptos where if I'm involved in an institutional transaction and I do it, let's just say it's settled internationally or it's settled in another state. Now there's a problem with New York, and I got to go report this to New York, and I got to report that for this regulation, for that financial license. Oh, do I need a bit license? Do I not need a bit license? Dude, it's very difficult. Right? It's very difficult. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like saying to myself, people like to, lambaste China. I'm not saying the Chinese are saints here. I bloody hate the CCP. I think they're a bunch of thugs. And when we make a statement that, the CCP are a bunch of gangsters and thugs, what about our government? You think our government's better? They're also a bunch of nasty thugs, probably more so. Okay? Because at least if I try to open up a business as somebody, I'm not saying as a Chinese citizen, but if I were to go over to Shenzhen and want to set up shop, I would have an easier time setting up shop in China than when I would here in the United States. And people are like, well, and then when you tell people, the Chinese have granted property ownership for the citizens. Oh, that's not real property. They can grab it at any time. And I say to myself, you idiot. They can grab your property at any time. You don't have, dude, CJ, do we really have property ownership in the United States? No.
Well, yeah, we don't. I mean, because, primarily that, don't pay your property taxes and see what happens.
Exactly. You'll find out who owns what real quick. We don't have property ownership here. There's no property ownership. It's like, dude, I mean, think about it. I own my car, right? I own my car. So if I wanted to, let's just say, and I'm licensed, okay, so I'm proving to the state that I have some sort of level of competency in order to handle a vehicle and know the rules of the road. Even with all that, CJ, I got to do what in New York City? I got to pay my registration every year. Otherwise, I can't drive my car, my paid-for car, which is my personal property, on the road. Like, what the hell? I need permission to drive my vehicle on a road that supposedly my tax dollars have paid for. I mean, when people start really unraveling this ball of yarn that we call, freedom, you kind of understand that you're not really free. You're starting to understand that, hey, you know what? You're not free. And, there's a lot more tyranny here. The difference between us and the Chinese tell you to your face that, yeah, we're here, here it comes. We're going to screw you, but here's a bottle of lube. You know what you're expecting. But over here, it's like, bro, the amount of kangaroo courts here is ridiculous. They have like,
oh yeah, every step of the way. Absolutely. I
Exactly right.
completely agree. Every
And
step
people
of the
like
way.
people be like, oh, in China, if you go to court and you do a crime against the state, you got no chance. You do a crime against the state here, you think you have a chance here? Look at Julian Assange. Look at Chelsea Manning. Look at Edward Snowden. Look at any one of these whistleblowers. Look at anybody who hasn't been capped, who hasn't been killed. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And look at California. Look at the fires in California. Dude, you know how many companies and industries are leaving California because they can't even have reliable power supplies? And we've seen more and more evidence that these fires are planted. We've seen evidence of explosive charges being placed right before a fire would actually break out, and this was caught on satellite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's been put out there, and it's not covered by mainstream media. I think there's a few alt media circles that actually cover it. I mean, dude, it's ridiculous, dude. This is insane. These are all mafia games. You are all. I don't care if it's the California fire. I don't give a rat's ass whether it's this whole Ukrainian thing. I don't give a rat's ass. What's happening is we are being played by the Hegelian dialectic on a mass scale, and it's making me wonder, see, right? Because right now, in Argentina joins a long list of nations that are going through political turmoil. The Peronists are back. Okay, the Peronist Party is back. President Fernandez won the election, and I think Cristina Kirchner is going to be his vice president. They're all back. The Peronists are back. But when you look at the world, like I'm starting to look at all of the places. You know how many places? I'm gonna rattle off some names of countries that right now there is massive protests and rioting going on right now. Are you ready?
Go for it.
United States, Haiti, Brazil, Ecuador, Chile, Venezuela, Guinea, Liberia, Argentina, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Egypt, Sudan, Algeria, Spain, Tunisia, UK, Serbia, Montenegro, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Indonesia, Hong Kong, Russia, Ukraine, Latvia. Is there a place that did not touch? Is there a continent that has not been? Oh, Australia hasn't had any big things yet, but that's brewing. Maybe New Zealand. Nothing goes on over there. There's more sheep than people. I'm gonna move to New Zealand, Steve.
Yeah, the California fires are very interesting, and you would think that it would be capturing more national attention than what it is, which kind of leads me to believe that there's more nefarious things that are happening. And in part, when you take a look at some of these areas, I may be wrong here, V, but aren't these fires primarily occurring in a lot of affluent areas where you're talking about, large homes and, the wineries where, this
wineries
land
are gone, bro.
What?
Yeah, the wineries are pretty much destroyed at this point. It's terrible.
You have to think that the value of this land and how big some of these properties are, and then you take a look at LA and some of the areas that are just so the population density that's occurring. It very well could be some type of agenda that they're putting forward to literally burn people out, and by trying to get people to leave the state, those that can afford to leave the state, who would really want to ideally deal with, power outages on every other day basis. And then again, you have the question, like, those people that are burned out, are they going to rebuild, or are they going to cut their losses and sell and move on? So perhaps maybe there is a bigger play, a bigger attempt. You take a look at the crazy laws that they're passing in California. Are they really looking at California trying to, create this UN Agenda 2030 type, state of this utopia of micro homes and high-speed rail and all these things, of creating that? We know the size and scale of California. It has a larger economy than, many countries. Like California's scale is what, like 8th or 9th, V? As far as
if if you just look at production alone, and take these numbers with a grain of salt, you'd have to really get. But anyway, what's projected out there by the quote unquote mainstream is they'd be the seventh largest economy in the world.
Yeah, so potentially could they build that and flood it with either migrants or people who want that type of social system that's completely different than the rest of the United States. It would lead to some attempt of succeeding from the union. I potentially I don't I'm just again I'm speculating. I don't have any facts, but what's happening there is to me it's not by accident. I think that there's something else at play that we're just need to try to understand specifically what's happening. There's a theory that they're burning it out because they want national funding, they want more federal funding. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But again, just where these fires occurring, how it's happening, drain the people out, get the people that can afford to move, get them to do so, get them to leave, and then flip and do something that's even crazier with their type of draconian laws that they're passing in California. And it's such a shame. It's a beautiful state. It really is. I mean, it's
it's my favorite state in the whole entire union. Oh my God, me and the missus will always say, it's like, if it wasn't for the stupid politics, man, Siege, I'd be in like La Jolla Beach right now selling flip-flops and renting bicycles to tourists, bro. That's what I'd be doing with my life. I would just be, that's it, and just eating seafood all day. That's all I would do with my life.
Yeah, there's something about just being outdoors, right? About being outdoors, nature, sun, enjoying it, especially where we live, we spend a good chunk of time, indoors, right? We do. So when we get to those environments where it's nice like that, man, there's nothing better. There really isn't.
Yeah, there really isn't, man.
And by the way, the margaritas and the tequila taste a lot better in the sunshine.
It does, bro. Let's not, yeah, exactly. And everything tastes good, man. It's just, oh God Almighty, everything tastes good. And then on top of that, man, you have those Diablo winds. The Diablo winds in California, brother. 90, 95, 100 miles. Hurricane force winds, folks. It's like a Category 1 hurricane force winds. And they have tornado canes, which can reach about 120, 140 mile an hour tornado cane winds that also start up in California. Dude, California is being attacked. What it looks like, how it's going to play out, I don't exactly know. But this is not some, they like to market it off in the mainstream as some sort of just a coincidental incompetence, that's being done by the state over there. But it's more than that. This is there's something much more deeply involved in this process, and it's crazy to say the least, my man. It's crazy to say the least.
Absolutely.
Anyway, what else is on the radar, Siege?
Really, other than that, just like I said, I think we have the Fed, meeting this week where they'll probably look to lower rates, so that's coming up. So it's a pretty big week to follow the dynamics and what is your favorite, and stay in tune to the empire of chaos.
Yeah, exactly, man. A lot going on, man. You got the FOMC, you got the payrolls report, you got the GDP report, the PMIs, peak earnings, all that stuff is coming out this week. So it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out and what the news are. It's crazy, dude. Mission critical, brother. Mission critical. That's where we are.
Absolutely.
Anyway, my man, I think we're at the end of the broadcast. I want to thank all of you for listening in. Hit the subscribe button. Hit us with a thumbs up. Show your love, support. Hit us with a thumbs up. It helps, with us organically. And with that being said, also check out our sponsors, mycbdedibles.com, mycbdedibles.com, as well as the Patreon. I should start putting the links in the description box so you guys can go check it out. And with that being said, we are over and out.